So, Roblox, a gaming platform centered around both creating and playing different player-made experiences. You already know this, there's so many people playing right now. Whether it's anime fighting games, tycoons you can waste hours of your life into, or even FNAF related ones, Roblox games have always filled that weird niche of playing something that I won't care about for like longer than an hour. Okay, I lied. I spent way too much time on SpongeBob Simulator. Which gets me to officially licensed Roblox games, or experiences? Whatever they call it now. Over time, it's evident that this heightened popularity seemed to push lots of different businesses and brands into making their own games inside of Roblox. Now, is this a bad thing? No, not necessarily, but sometimes, at least for me, it can make things kind of feel soulless as a result. Especially with how they monetize these things, what the hell? So why am I saying all of this? FNAF. There's a FNAF one, of course there's a FNAF one. Five Nights at Freddy's Survival Crew. That's right, instead of your average fan-made FNAF Roblox game, just as I mentioned before, this one was officially licensed by none other than Scott Cawthon himself. Or at least his publishing company, I'm not sure. Making this kind of an official FNAF game, akin to something like FNAF AR. Which down the line, they'd have a lot more similarities. Developed by Metaverse team Fright, this game's open beta was revealed and released on December 20th of 2023, which, not kidding, was a genuine surprise to practically everybody, especially since it was only up for around 2 hours. Unfortunately, due to this, I was never actually able to play the beta. I know, one of my life's biggest regrets that I'll probably never live down. But honestly, it seems like I might have been one of the lucky ones.
Oh! Okay!
Yeah, it's not even Golden Freddy, it's just Gold Freddy.
My leg! Wait! Why is it moving like that? The server is shut down!
Right off the bat, this game takes lots of inspiration from asymmetrical horror games like Dead by Daylight, which operated around survivors repairing generators to eventually escape, while also trying to narrowly avoid the sights of the killer. This game kinda works like that. As the security guard, instead of generators, players would need to find batteries around the map and install them inside 5 of those flashlight chargers from Security Breach, all the while trying to avoid the roaming animatronic in the match. The animatronic, in a system practically identical to Dead by Daylight, needs to both injure and down security guards to place them in spring-lock suits. This is where players, after continuously failing their skill checks, are turned into a spring-lock animatronic that helps the main animatronic hunt down players. That's right, after a while there will definitely be more than one animatronic on the map, which admittedly is a pretty cool system. If those 5 flashlight chargers are completed by the security guards, the animatronic is suddenly blasted with 5,000 volts of electricity or something like that from a gun that spawns on the side of the wall. However, if they're unsuccessful in doing so, and the animatronic captures everyone, then they win. And yep, that's basically the gist of the gameplay. Sounds fine for the most part, right? Well, if you can get behind the downright terrifying animations, ugly UI, and sloppy models, then sure, yeah, whatever you say. But no, there were definitely a few issues with this game. In fact, a big problem tied with this game was its use of microtransactions. Now, understandably, a free game like this needs to make its money back somehow, but I don't think this is the right way to go about it.
There's a battle pass and a FNAF game?
Having both the free and paid version of a the Freddy Pass on launch for the beta version of the game feels downright predatory. Animatronics, skins, and consumables also seemed a bit overpriced for my taste, with different animatronics like Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy all being about $5 US, and skins like this costing up to 15. It also doesn't help that some of these skins are just so bad. Other than that, there were indications of stolen fan art, fan models, and so much Lady Fizzy art. A few hours after the release of the beta, Scott Cawthon actually went to the game's subreddit to discuss a major miscommunication regarding the development of the game. Supposedly, according to Scott, the developers at FNAF Team mistook his approval of a random skin inside of the game as the okay to launch the official beta. Generally don't understand how something like this could happen, but it seems Scott was just as baffled as most, promising that the game would return next year and that this was a very, very early stage in this game's development cycle. Which is where things start to get a little confusing. As yes, this game did come as a surprise to many, but it's actually been the product of a leak before. Dating all the way back to September of 2022, YouTuber Lily Gaia showed off some exclusive footage of the aforementioned officially licensed Roblox game that kinda just went under the radar. And yep, this is definitely different. Honestly, not much to really talk about here, but just looking over some of the footage, you could definitely tell this is the same game. Another important thing she points out here is that the trademark for the game's loading screen in this build is stated under the year 2019, which I feel is as good a time as any to mention the actual game development studio behind the release. As according to their website, FNAF Team strives to bring bigger licenses into professional quality content on Roblox. So far, I believe they've only made 2 games on this promise, being Nerf Strike and Angry Birds Bird Island. The Nerf game is fine, and the Angry Birds one, yeah. It seems that the studio here was also planning at the very least on releasing a beta soon anyway, as many of the game's locations make blatant references to the film, which would have been released around the same time, and the badge for being a beta participant was made just a few months prior. But in this state, yeah, I don't know. As stated before, it's been proven at the very latest that this game has been in development since possibly 2019, which means it's been around since at least when the first Help Wanted was getting teased. Which, by the way, makes things really confusing if so. You're telling me that Scott has even played this game that's been in development for around 5 whole years. Just saying, that's definitely not a game, be it Roblox game, in its infancy. It also seems that there were a plethora of skins and even pretty high quality UGC items planned for its release. Discovered in Justin Weingartner's ArtStation portfolio were loads of unreleased skins for the game. While a majority of these were simply remakes of special delivery skins, some like Gravedigger Foxy, Plague Dr. Chica, and even Blindside Bonnie were probably specifically made for this Roblox game. Anyway, likely as a result of the widespread backlash from fans, a developer on the team's Discord server announced to everyone that the game was told by Scott to be completely thrown out. Instead, a new version of Survival Crew was to be made entirely from scratch, being assets and gameplay, until it meets a much higher standard of quality from the latest release. So it's probably safe to say that this game isn't coming out anytime soon. And it's probably for the best. With things like Funko Fusion and even the mysterious collaboration we're getting on August 6th of this year, I find this whole ordeal to just be really confusing, and honestly a little funny too. I mean, can you believe how fast this all got swept under the rug? Like, nobody even talks about this anymore. But let's be real, an official Five Nights at Freddy's game on Roblox isn't a bad idea at all. There's plenty of FNAF Roblox games that are actually really good, have great amounts of effort put into them, and are sometimes downright terrifying. But, and I bet many agree, this definitely wasn't the best way to go about it. I'll just continue playing this. Wait, how did you get in the vent so fast? What the heck? Oh!